Hey guys, welcome back to the Manga Mark channel. Today we are jumping into the tier list, the post Enies Lobby tier list. This will cover the characters basically from Foxy up until the end of, like I said, post Enies Lobby, which we just watched there. Now the last thing we saw was obviously the episode with Ace going up against Blackbeard. Quite a cliffhanger to leave me on. So I'll jump into this one. It'll be the same as previous tier list, guys, where I will go more in depth to the kind of like main or more important characters, and then the kind of like side ones I don't have much of an opinion on. You know, I'll give my opinion on them, but it won't be as detailed as, let's say, like a member of the Straw Hats, right? So, spoiler alert, the S tier and A tier probably going to be stacked, right? Because these arcs were amazing, and my thoughts and feelings towards the Straw Hats themselves at this point, I can quite honestly say my favourite cast in an anime, a manga, like any property I've seen. It's so good, and it only gets better throughout. It's fantastic. These characters, they grow so well as the story progresses, especially a couple of key characters that we'll get into here. But yeah, guys, like this is probably going to be a long video. Strap in. We'll get stuck in here. Obviously, I've got other videos planned in the coming week. We're going to do like arc rankings. I'll watch the openings that I can watch now that I've finished Enies Lobby. I will do a video kind of giving my predictions and theories going forward in the series, because we got so much information at the end of Enies Lobby and like even during Enies Lobby with a lot of the stuff like during the flashbacks and stuff. So there's a lot of stuff to process from those arcs. As I'm doing these videos, I will be watching the filler in my own time, and then I'll come back with the canon stuff in the next video. So let's get stuck in here, guys. Let's jump into this tier list and see how my thoughts have changed on some characters, how much new characters have, hit with me. I'm looking at it now, and I, like, to be fair, right, I did say that the top of the tier list is going to be stacked, but I'm looking at a couple just now that I know are going to be in the trash tier, the fabled trash tier, right? Because there was a couple of misses that I thought, not that they didn't fit, it's just that they just weren't for me, not characters for me. So let's, and by the way, like, this first one here, that we're going to get into, this Marine guy here that is a captain, there are a couple of these that I don't know their names. And the thing is with One Piece, I'm so wary about spoilers, guys, that I don't search anything. So, like, I could have looked at these and then went in and maybe tried to find out some of these, like the Vice Admirals or these captains' names. But if you guys could tell me in the comments any that you feel I should know, because I ain't... it's too risky for me to be looking up these characters because of how, what year was it that this arc was out? I guarantee I'll type something in, I'll get spoiled in something that's happening now or will happen in the future, and I just don't want that, right? So, guys, if you are new to the channel, welcome. I am watching through One Piece for the first time on this channel, along with the greatest community ever. Seriously, guys, thank you so much for everyone that has stuck with me and continues to support the channel as I go through One Piece. I really appreciate it. And let's have some arguments. Let's get into the comments here, and we shall now tear each other apart as I jump in here and either make some people happy about my choice with these characters or upset, because there's always going to be somebody that loves, the free-headed judge or something. There's always going to be somebody that loves these characters, right? That just We're going to have different opinions, but that's the fun of these. That's the fun of these tier lists. So, like I said, starting off, this captain guy. Now, he had a very strange devil fruit, right? It was a strange one. Frankie made quick work of him, so he wasn't a bad character, but I don't believe that I put him in D. You know, he was like the one that basically was there to show us, oh, wait a minute, these Marines have devil fruits, some of them, and it all kind of sparkled from there. But I thought that there was going to be more devil fruit users than there turned out being. I think we only ended up getting 2. Although I think somebody told me that I'm pretty sure somebody mentioned to me that there was another. I think there was more. It went more. There may have been more like devil fruit users in that fight in the manga, but don't quote me on that. I'm not sure. I remember it being mentioned, but I don't know the specifics of it. Right. So, moving on to Bluno. Bluno was good. Right. Out of the CP9 guys, it was actually decent. I'm going to put Bluno on B. I don't think he quite makes A tier, but that fight with Luffy was great. Even it was there to get done, right? It was there to show off. Hold on a second here. Luffy has leveled up, and Bluno was the example to be like, let's show you the difference from like where we were in Water 7 compared to where we are now. That we've resolved ourselves. We know the reason why Robin's doing this. Let's go and get them. But I liked his kind of like stoic attitude, and he was like the first one to figure out what was kind of happening, because obviously Spandam was an idiot and thought that Luffy had only beat like 5 people, but Bluno kind of, he sniffed something was wrong and went out there to see what's happening. So, yeah, a good character. Not quite the top level of CP9 for me, but a good villain. A good villain. He played his part well. Chimney. Oh, man, Chimney. Oh, God, you know what? I'm going to put Chimney in B as well, next to Bluno. Just because she probably would have been lower because she's like a side character, but she came in so clutch in Enies Lobby. Like, we would not have saved Robin without Chimney. We wouldn't have. Like, she basically, everybody that found their way to the bridge, or like the secret tunnel, was because of Chimney. Chimney saw Lucci and Spandam going that way. She saved Luffy from drowning, took him the correct way. She went and got Frankie when Frankie had the keys, took him the right way. Her and Kokoro went down and drew the kind of like arrows so that the rest of them could find the way to go. So she did. She came in very handy. No fear. This child has no fear. Just didn't care. Just went away, did her thing, and just like it's a kind of like recurring theme now that we have these kind of child characters in the arc that are there to kind of help us out, because we had obviously like Isa and Skypiea. You had that little boy that was in Alabasta that was kind of like, he was the one that figured out that it was Mr. 2 posing as the king and stuff, so that the kids are helping us. The kids are helping us along here, and I'd say that Chimney probably helped. Well, we're saying that Isa kind of fulfilled the same kind of role in Skypiea, because she had the mantra ability to sense where everyone was. So, Chimney stepped up for Isa in this arc. This is the old man, Tonto. I can't remember his specific name, but it's the man on the stilts, right? That was there on the island with the Davy Back fight. Long land. That was it. Yeah, with all the animals with the long necks and stuff. It was okay. Uh, I'll put him in C. It was just he was he was there to get us to the Davy Back fight, basically. Uh, there wasn't much to it. I can't go into too much depth with it. In fact, I don't. You know what? I'll maybe put him down in D because it was a nice little story, about him getting back to his family and stuff. But like, there wasn't much else to it. Is this Iceberg's mouse? Yeah, he was put him in D as well. I'm sorry, right? This is the kind of character I know that people are going to be like, oh no, not the mouse. The mouse got to be up there. It didn't do anything. It was just a mouse that was there. The Iceberg seemed to keep in his pocket. Like, I don't know what you want me to say here, right? Like, I don't know. It was a fun little character quirk for Iceberg. I'll say that, right? I love that they've used this picture for Chopper because I feel so bad for Chopper with what happened with the bounty. The picture they used with him eating a piece of cotton candy and they classed him as a pet. 50 berries. Chopper for me, he needed this. He needed this transformation. It gives him that little bit of edge. I don't know if it's enough for him to break into S tier for me. Because I do love it. I love the transformation. I love Chopper. Don't get me wrong. Right? But I just feel like out of all the Straw Hats, he seems to be the one that's lacking his character is lacking the most, if that makes sense. I need more. I need more from Chopper. It's like I feel like the development that the likes of an Usopp has had since he's been introduced has been like night and day. And I understand because of Chopper's nature, that's probably harder to do with his character. And because of he's a reindeer, right? I get it. It's just, I feel like he's a harder character to write for, to give him more development. This form here is badass. Don't get me wrong. It's a very much needed character trait and a kind of darker side that I really do appreciate. But like I said, out of everybody, I don't know what it is, and I know people love Chopper, and I love Chopper, but I just don't feel like he is an S tier character at this point. It might change my mind as I go forward in the series. Because when I was watching this arc and the transformation happened, and I loved the fact that he got involved in everybody's fights. He was running around, he was getting involved with Frankie Fukuro, he was getting involved with Zoro and Usopp fighting Kaku and Jabra. He was in with Nami, trying to figure out what was happening with Sanji when Khalifa was fighting him. He was all over the place. And I do it it's just he plays off the comedy stuff that well. He's great in the group, but as a character, I need a bit more from a break into S rank. He is close. Don't get me wrong, he is close, but it's like that. I feel like the other characters, because like I was saying, when I was first doing the tier list, and I did it in the East Blue. You guys will remember that I've kind of watched the older videos. It was very rare for me to give a character an S rank. I think in the first video in the East Blue, maybe only 3 or 4 people got into S rank. And now, probably most of the other Straw Hats are going to be in there. And it's just that way where I like, all the other characters had that arc that pushed them over the edge for me. You know? It was there, like seeing kind of Sanji and what happened with him in like Alabasta and him having the Mr. Prince stuff, you know, it's Nami when, like, because Nami wasn't for me until like her backstory and like stuff with Arlong Park. It's that way where these characters, they have that sparking moment. I feel like Chopper, as much as I loved his backstory and his character introduction, it was Dr. Heroic that kind of stuck with me more from the flashback. And I don't know, I feel like the more I talk about it, the more I feel like I'm trying to convince myself. But I'll leave him here for just now, and I'll see how I feel when it shapes out more, if I want to change my mind on Chopper. The announcer guy from the Davy Back fight, he was okay. It was funny, but there wasn't much to him. Professor Clover, I really liked Clover. Put him in B. Maybe put him in A, actually. Clover was... No, put him in B. Because, like, I want to know what it was going to say. I want to know what Clover was going to say, and I feel like that is going to be a bit of a topic of discussion in my prediction kind of theory video, is what was Clover going to say to the world government before he got taken out. And it made me... Robin's flashback was just like an absolute gut punch, and like Clover was like one of the like decent people like on that island, just like a good guy. He seemed like a good guy, and a great like relationship with Robin. Basically, kind of taught Robin, and God, it sucks what happened. It really does. It's just, yeah, it was like him and Saul were like the two where you were like, oh man, like really, are we doing this? So sad, but you know, it's one of those. He's one of those characters that kind of passed on their. He's like a Dr. Hero look. You know what I mean? He's like a Dr. Hero look and you know, Belmere. Him and Saul were that for Robin. So he deserves it. He deserves the praise. This guy, Vice Admiral, I can't remember. Was he the guy that... Oh. I can't remember what Vice Admiral out of these guys it was that... Remember he shot the guy that... like... I can't remember. He shot the guy for not following justice or something like that. It was crazy. He shot one of his own men for like a stupid reason. And I can't remember if it was this one or not. I like this guy's... I'll put him here. I like this guy's design. I'd say probably better than the other ones. I think I like a cooler design, but like I said, like there wasn't much to them. They were basically there to do the Buster Call and hype up Lucci, really. The same with the Doctor from Blackbeard's crew. I'd say he's the most uninteresting, probably, from Blackbeard's crew. Like, I'm like, okay, this guy is just kind of like lying on a horse and he struggles to speak. Like, what do I say there? I need to see more of him, I think. And probably guessing by what we saw from Blackbeard in the last episode, we're probably going to find out more about his crew. So that'll be interesting to say the least. Dragon. Oh man, Dragon. Where do we go with Dragon, guys? Uh, now that we know he's Luffy's dad, I mean, come on, that was a bombshell, right? That was an absolute bombshell to drop on me. I'm going to put him up in A. You know, I don't know anything about him. I know nothing about him for the fact that he's Luffy's dad. I got that one scene of him, you know, like, the interesting thing is, his people, like the Revolutionary Army, don't seem to know about his family. You know, because when he walked by and he saw Luffy's bounty, and he asked the guy, and the guy started describing it to him as if to say, "Oh, that's Straw Hat Luffy, yeah, him and his crew, blah blah." So they obviously have no idea that Dragon has a family, and that's what makes me think. I'm like, do the world government know that he is Garp's son? That is confusing to me because Garp's men, and like Kobe and Helmeppo, obviously, they all knew they were going there, and Luffy was the grandson of Garp. They seemed to be all aware of that. But as soon as Garp mentioned Dragon's name, his own men, everybody, they were all like, what? Like, they could not believe it. So it makes me think, like, do the higher ups in the world government, did they know about this? Like, has Garp kept it under wraps? What has caused a hero of the Marines' son to become the leader of the Revolutionary Army, an enemy of the world government? What's happened there? I need to know more. I need to know more. But, you know, like, I'm sure we're going to get it in time. It seems like one of those characters, like a Shanks, like a Mihawk, that we're gonna get little bits of them here and there, and we just need to accept that. I just need to accept that I will know more about Dragon in the future, right? Foxy. I'll put Foxy in C. I don't know what to say about him. He was funny. Like, there was times he was annoying. There was times he was funny. I can understand why people don't like the arc, right? Especially in the anime. If I hadn't watched the kind of filler stuff in between, where it's just the canon stuff, I think I would have probably enjoyed this character more, because it does get a bit one note as you go, where you're like, right, I'm at the stage, I'm done with this guy now, like, let's move on. Like, we've had our fun little break, let's get back into the serious stuff. Because, like, a lot of people, when I was talking about it, it feels like when you watch G8 feels like the canon arc and the Davy Back fight. Everything up until Aokiji comes into it feels like filler. And that's not a place that you want to find yourself as a villain. I don't think he's as bad as D, because, you know, there was some actual good moments with him, like funny moments in the overall Davy Back fight, and then I actually enjoyed the fight between him and Luffy, and the kind of like boxing stuff, like the Afro Luffy thing and all that. Like, that was actually good, and like them fighting all through the ship. And his powers are unique. You know, it's a strange ability he has, and it works for him. So, you know, let's put him there. Now, Franky. Let's get him straight up there. I love Franky. Like, I probably would have put him in A if I was doing this just after Water 7. Because it was a great introduction. His backstory was great. Like, I love the backstory of what happened with Tom, Iceberg, all the setup, the turnaround that I did on this character from the start of Water 7 to the end of Water 7. and like going into Enies Lobby, night and day. Like the the development this guy had from these couple of arcs, insane. Like just, and having him bond with every member of the crew before actually joining. Like he spent time with Usopp and that on the train with Usopp and Sanji. He was in the car, you know, having deep conversations with Robin, and kind of like made a decision there. He tried to sacrifice himself on the train so that Robin could get away with Sanji and Usopp. It's just like all the stuff that he did. Yeah, the character traits, the fact he's a cyborg, he's a shipwright, built as a new ship. You know, he's just. I have never. I don't think that. Probably since Robin has a character been introduced, and I am so on board with them joining the crew and just love them right away. Like, the other characters all had great introductions and great builds, but I think that what helps Robin and helps Franky is we got a couple of arcs of them in different roles before they became crew members. Like, we got Robin being Miss All Sunday and very mysterious, and like meeting her at Whiskey Peak and going through all the stuff up to Alabasta there. That kind of like set her up as a character already as she joined. And it's the same with Franky for me. Like, all the stuff that happened in Water 7, seeing what his character was all about as we progressed through Enies Lobby, watching him, it felt, by the time all the fights were happening in Enies Lobby and we got into the main building, it felt like part of the crew. It felt like part of the crew already. And that is like just such good storytelling. And, you know, the way he joined the crew was hilarious as well, with the pants. Don't get me started, right? But he is... This is the thing, I am looking forward to this next arc so much, and one of the main reasons is to see Franky on the ship, on this ship that he's built with his new crew. I want to see how he interacts with everybody in like a normal setting going forward. I can't wait for it. I really can't wait for it. He's a great addition. Fantastic. I think Franky is an amazing crew member. And goes straight into S tier. I don't even have a hesitation about it. I loved his character. Fukuro. How do I feel about Fukuro? Fukuro actually surprised me. From how ridiculous the character is, how he speaks, the zipper mouth, all that stuff, right? His fight with Franky was awesome. And it was funny. So I don't like him as much as Bruno, I don't think. I'm going to put him in C. Because he's not... I didn't enjoy him as much. In fact, I might put him in B. I actually did quite enjoy him. Nah, we'll leave him in C just now. Leave him in C. We'll see how I feel as... like when I get all of CP9 up there on the board... then I might shuffle things to like change my opinion. But right now, see, Spandam's elephant sword, put him in D. Like, he did, it was a cool concept. I liked the, you know, like we got a kind of explanation behind like Vegapunk and how this is possible. That was cool. Like, I don't know if I probably like the poor thing more if it was in the possession of somebody good. But, you know, it was based... I liked the interaction with Franky when Franky made it, you know, put its nose back to a normal elephant nose when it was trying to chop up Robin. But yeah, not much to it. Oh my god. The Going Merry. Guys, let's get it. Let's get it up there. Let's get Merry up there. It's too soon. It's too soon to talk about this. Like, you know, it's crazy you can get this attached to a cartoon ship, but it is that funeral they had for the Going Merry. My God, man, like that. I kept thinking that I was composed, and I was like, I was like, I'll be okay. I feel like I am, like I'm okay. And then when she started speaking and saying she was sorry, oh my God. And then Luffy breaking down, Usopp crying, Nami crying, Chopper crying. Even Robin started crying. Like, I think the only ones that didn't cry were like Zoro and Sanji. And I don't know how, because I started crying. It was the thought of going for. I know that, it needed to be done, and it was so impactful. But the thought of going forward now and not being on the Merry breaks my heart. I want to give the Thousand Sunny a fair chance. And it's like Frankie said, I'm sure it will inherit Merry's spirit. But, Merry is just legendary. So let's just get her up there where she belongs. Sodom and Gomorrah. Yeah, Sodom and Gomorrah. I like Sodom and Gomorrah. They helped us a lot. I don't know if I want to put them. I'll put them in C. Because they were great. They were actually great. They got us through Enies Lobby. Them making a sacrifice to save Frankie. That endeared me to them. I thought they were like big crazy things as they were fighting the giants and stuff, but seeing them kind of do like a little flashback and thinking about when Frankie saved them, that was nice. I like that. Is it Gonbi or Gombe? Gombe or Gombe? I don't know. Like we'll put them down here. It was just like it's Chimney's sidekick. I don't know. I don't even know what it is. Is it supposed to be a rabbit? Is that what it is? Is it a rabbit? It's a very strange animal. Like One Piece has the strangest animals in some of these arcs, and I don't know what Gombe is, because like at some points they were like Frankie and that referred to them as the children, and I'm like, are you talking about this rabbit thing like along with Chimney? I don't know, right? I'm not even going to give my thoughts on it. I'll just put them there. Oh God, these higher up guys, and like I'll put these guys in B, I suppose. Like they seem very mysterious. We've checked in with them a couple of times, and they seem like they're going to be good villains. But I need more. Them doing that to Clover, like it was quite clear. It was like, right, this man's about to say something they do not want exposed at any cost, and they would rather kill this man, kill everybody in this country, and destroy all the evidence. So these guys are messed up, right? And these are the guys that are in charge of the world government. So we'll put them here just now. I want to see more of them, and then we can take it from there. But as it stands right now, we'll put them there and see what happens. This pigeon, bang, trash. This pigeon is trash, right? I hate this thing. It was annoying. Back when I didn't know who was going to, like, when all the shipwrights were introduced and I didn't know about the CP9, spies, I was looking at the Galley Lass shipwrights, and I actually, even though Lucci was like such a cool design and he looked awesome, I thought to myself, I do not want this man to join the crew, because this pigeon speaking for him is so annoying. When Lucci was pretending to be, he couldn't talk and the pigeon was talking, it was like a ventriloquist or something. It was so annoying, and it made me kind of. I was so happy when Lucci started speaking when he was revealed as a villain, because I'm like, oh, thank God, right, we don't need to hear from this pigeon anymore. Not a fan of the pigeon, as you might have guessed, right? Not a fan. Oh, this is the horse from Long Ring Long Line Sherry, I want to say. Sherry? Yeah, she was okay. We'll put her with her man there so that they can be together. You know, nice reunion. Nice of Luffy to go. As much as it was to Chopper's dismay, like Luffy saving her and picking her first. That was funny. But yeah, you know, just nice. Just nice vibes. Helmeppo, right. Helmeppo has had a change, right? This is a change. If you go back and look at Helmeppo in the East Blue, like, I mean, come on. I love the bond he's formed with Kobe. Love it. I love he's under Garp. Now, let's put Helmeppo in B. Put him in B. You know, he deserves to be up there. He has changed. He's changed. He's one of these guys that's changed and deserves a second chance. Let's give Helmeppo a second chance because he seems to be on the right track, right? Iceberg, let's get Iceberg up there. Iceberg's in A. He is a great character. I love the bond between him and Frankie. I love the backstory of young Iceberg and Frankie, like Tom's workers, all of that. You know, I loved that obviously he was the one that patched up the Mary and heard her voice and sent her off to save us. Excellent stuff. You know, it's just, Iceberg was a great character. I loved him in Water 7. I love the fact that he had some kind of connection to Robin, but they wouldn't reveal what it was. We then found out it was because of, obviously, what he inherited from Tom, and he was concerned that the reason that these blueprints exist is because Robin can, you know, revive these ancient weapons, so they need to have a countermeasure. All that was great. You know, the betrayal that he suffered, but he's just, you know, he picked himself up, and I like as well that at the end of the arc, when Frankie left with the crew, he stepped up to help the Frankie family, to be like, listen, like, come on, like, you can work for me, I'll help you guys out. A great guy. Iceberg's just a great guy. And I hope that we get to see him again in the future. Jabra. I liked Jabra. I'm going to put Jabra up in A tier. I thought he was a good villain. I liked the kind of like wolf devil fruit. I liked his kind of like antagonistic relationship with Lucci, and you could say it was like a dog and a cat kind of going at each other. Very funny interactions between him and Kaku when Kaku revealed his giraffe devil fruit. And then just like the fight with Sanji was awesome. That was great. And, you know, even like the stuff with Usopp leading up to Sanji coming back, you know, all that was fantastic. He's one of the, you know, he's probably a top 3 CP9 for me. With, you can probably guess who the other 2 are going to be going up. Oh, right, here we go. We've got the triple giants here. The 3 giants. Is Saul from Elbaf? I can remember him mentioning something about Elbaf. It must be, right? Because I know that Oimo and Cash are from Elbaf. But obviously, like, Saul was a Vice Admiral in the Marines. But anyway, like, Saul, let's get Saul up there. He deserves to be an A, at least. It could be an S. Saul could be an S tier. But, I don't know. It's just, like, I loved the way he inspired Robin and, like, the sacrifice he made for Robin. Loved it. You know, it was great. I don't know if it had the same kind of impact on me as, like, Heroic did. Or, like, Belmere. Like, flashback-wise. But it was great. It was fantastic. He's a fantastic character. Robin doing his laugh, like when she was, you know, going away in the boat. Oh my god, it breaks my heart, man. It's, and they kept to tug on my heartstrings, right? They kept playing the the kind of like the speech that he gave to Robin as she was like running away when he was talking about her founding people that'll support her and stuff. Great stuff. Like Saul is a fantastic character. I'm so gutted that like Aokiji killed him, and then because it's such a strange relationship that those two have because they were friends, and that makes it even sadder. And like obviously Aokiji explaining that to Robin when they got back to Water 7, it's made it even more tragic, you know. But like Oimo and Kashi, we'll put them in B. They were good. I liked their turnaround, obviously, because of Usopp. I love their connection with Dory and Brogy. And now they're back on Water 7. They're helping the shipwrights. They were just good. They were just good characters. They were good to have in. Right. This is the problem, right? Like, there's only a couple of the Frankie family members that I know their names. Like, this guy was one of the main ones. Let's put him in C. He was good, you know. I liked his, you know, determination. He was like one of the ones that were rallying the Frankie family when they were going up against Oimo and Kashi to be like, listen, we can't be afraid here. We need to go and save our bro. So, a good dude. Like, I know Zanbai. I know, like, Mozu and Kiwi, who are next. Like, those are the main ones. Like, God, it's Sodom and Gomorrah. But I don't think that they went into, like, the names of the other... Did they tell you the names of these characters and I've just, like, missed them? I don't know. You guys can tell me if you know it. But I can't remember. In terms of Mozu and Kiwi, I'll put them up in B. They were fun characters. I loved that, you know, after, like, Frankie family and Galila became friendly, I loved them teasing Polly because of how shy Polly is. I thought that was great. And, you know, they were a nice... Yes, their hairstyle is crazy. Like, considering from the flashback that they used to have normal hair, I feel like since they joined up with Frankie, they've went this direction. I don't know why, but it's strange, right? But they seem very eccentric, and I like their characters. I like the flashback you saw of them as young girls when they first built the sea train. They were there, like them and Polly were there to see the sea train and be inspired by it. That was cool. I like them. Burgess. Do you know what? He's probably... I'm going to put him up there. I love his design. I love his design, and he's probably my favourite member of Blackbeard's crew. In fact, you know what? He might not... let's put him down. Put him in B. You know, he's not quite A, but he is up. He's close because he's my favourite member of that crew. I love his design. I love the, you know, the Lucha Libre, like, big wrestler guy. And I want to find out more about them. About the whole crew. I want to know if they have devil fruit powers. You know, like how they came to join Blackbeard. I want to know all about them. But... like, out of like the ones beside Blackbeard, he's my favourite in that crew. Kobe. Let's get Kobe up there. Kobe's an A. Like, what a glow up. What a glow up from Kobe. Can you remember this kid? In the East Blue? It's only been like 3 months. That blew my mind when somebody told me it's only been 3 months. Like, since we left Kobe. I mean, come on. There's only so much of a growth spurt you can have in like a change in appearance. Like, that's insane. He looks so awesome now. I love that he has the ambition to be an admiral and that he's you know, working under Garp, and that he's still kind of fanboys over Luffy. You know, he's a great character, a great friend to Luffy. I love that it was Luffy and Zoro were like the two, because I forgot when he got to Water 7 and they were talking to him that Luffy and Zoro are the only two that know him. That's how old it was, like, since I saw Kobe, that he was so early in the series that the only two Straw Hats that were there was Luffy and Zoro. It was Luffy Zoro going along with Kobe when he joined the Marines. That's insane to me. Like, how far we've come. And, like, just, it's insane. And I can't wait to... I'm always going to be excited to see Kobe in this series. Every time I see Kobe, I'm going to be excited to see how he's doing and, you know, like how much progress he's made. Because the fact that he can now use, like, the 6 powers that we saw from CP9, my God. But then again, judging from the little bits I've seen of how Garp trains people, it's understandable. Kobe's been through hell. Kokoro, the mermaid that broke Sanji's heart. Let's put her in B. She's a good character. Kokoro's a good character, you know. She's funny. She helped us out a lot. I love the kind of like... She had a couple of little really inspiring things she said about the crew as things were happening. Like the little speech she gave about Luffy and how like he was gonna like it was gonna shock the world what Luffy was doing. And then as they were jumping the sea train across to the main building, she was kind of giving... She was like talking to Tom and being like, well, look at this, like what you did for that guy Roger, now we're all doing this for this, like the guy who wants to be the new Pirate King, this guy Luffy. I loved it, you know, like Kokoro helped us a lot and she deserves to be up there. Kumatori, do you know what, guys? I'm going to put him in D. He was my least favourite CP9 member, and it's because he got a bit annoying for me. Like, his character trait and the way he spoke, I was like, right, okay, it's getting a bit, you know, like, just, come on now. I was really happy when Chopper destroyed him. Like, this guy got done. When Chopper threw him, like, just threw him across half the island. In fact, it was basically the whole island. I was like, oh my God. First of all, thank you, Chopper. Second, wow. Right? He got done. Like, the way he would speak and the way he would, like, try and commit seppuku as he did, you know, like, Tekai. It was funny the first couple of times, and then it got a bit stale. So... he's down there for me. He was my least favourite CP9 member. Aokiji. Aokiji is up in A. He is just... There was times where I just, like, when he was introduced, right? He was so mysterious. I was like, what is his connection with Robin? He looks awesome. His ability is awesome. Badass character, straight from the first impression. But he's so, like, you don't know. Like, in the flashback with what happened with Saul, and, you know, the more I thought about it, I hated him for it, but then the more I thought about it, I went, he's in a really bad position here, and what can you do? Like, Saul basically gave him, I wouldn't say no choice, well, yeah, no choice, because... like, the place is surrounded by these vice admirals that are all destroying the island. He's a giant. He's destroying all these warships and stuff. He's quite clearly went against the world government. I don't think Aokiji, like, it's not as if he's a normal-sized guy. Like, Aokiji can't just, like, sneak him out there like he did Robin. So... and then he I like that he respected his friend's wish and helped her escape. And then, like, I do appreciate the fact that he's basically said, right, it's time for me to tie up my loose ends now. You've clearly not found your place in the world. I'm going to end this. Like, he basically given up on Robin. But then when he's seen the connection she'd made with the crew, and I love that he has this respect for Garp. He even mentioned it before I knew who Garp was back in... like, after, like, the Davy Back fight, when he first met Luffy, when he told him about Robin, he mentioned Luffy's granddad then, before I had any clue about him being in the Marines. So he obviously has this deep connection with Garp, and he owes Garp. He said that himself, like, Garp's helped him out. So he respects him. So he obviously, I feel like he's basically happy to leave Robin in Luffy's hands. He's like, right, I can trust this guy. He's Garp's grandson. Seems to be a very good-natured guy. Because, like, him showing up in Water 7 and saying all that stuff to Robin and then being on Garp's ship as we were escaping, at any point, with this man's abilities, at any point, if he wanted to catch us, we'd be caught, right? We'd be done. He has let us go. So he obviously sees something in us and genuinely wants to let Robin go because she's found her place. So I want to see more of him. I want to see how his... Because he seems like he's in such a high position, but the rest of the kind of like higher ups in the world government seem like scumbags. So I wonder how he gels with them. You know? Him and Garp just feel like such straight... Like, Aokiji, Garp and Smoker, they don't fit in with the rest of them. You know, you look at these vice admirals, you look at these 5 like elder guys. That other, like the guy in the flash, Akinu, that's the, like, he's an admiral now, but he was a vice admiral in the flashback, and he blew up all the, you know, civilians. It's like night and day, like, it's crazy. So, yeah, I want to see more from Aokiji, and we'll kind of see where we go, if we still hold him in such high esteem down the line. Oh, this guy... This is the creepy one from Blackbeard's crew, the one that showed up at like Marine HQ to nominate him. Seems okay. I'll put him in C. I don't know much about him. He seems weird. He seems like a weird one, but eerie. And like when they were speaking about him at Marine HQ, when they recognised who he was, Lafitte, is that his name? I think it was Lafitte. They described him in such a way where they were like, right, this guy's got a dark past. I can't remember exactly what he'd done, but it was dark, right? He was a criminal of some sort. So I need to see more from him. But he's not as good as Burgess, but like a decent kind of like villain for being in Blackbeard's crew anyway. This guy, the other Vice Admiral guy, I don't think this guy did much. Like, the other ones had, like, more dialogue when it came to kind of, like, Lucci's backstory and stuff. So I'll put him here with his buddy. You know, probably, I'd say these two. In fact, you know what? I'll just do this just now while I'm here. Just get these guys out of the way. I'd say these 3 here were the most interesting out of them, and the other 2, this guy here, I don't think he said a word. Right, let's put him down here. And where was the other guy that just looked stoned? The guy with the beard. There he's. This guy just looks baked. Right, let's just get him down there. So, out of the Vice Admirals, the 2 in D I just thought were bland and uninteresting. The 3 that I've put in C seem a bit more like, right, okay, these are imposing villains going forward. Yeah, I have to say about that. In fact, let's have a look here and see. Let's get these guys as well from the Frankie family that I don't know their names. Like I understand, like these 3 here from the Frankie family, they were like the 3 main ones besides like Zanbai that they kept showing and kept getting the spotlight. I put them all in the same boat. Like, my turnaround on the Frankie family was crazy. Like, I hated these guys because of what they did to Usopp and everything that happened in Water 7. I never expected to love them and like be endeared to this group and the way they felt towards like Frankie and like what they were willing to go through for Frankie. I didn't expect that from these characters, and I could put them higher if there were more to their actual characters, like individually, and that's why I'll put like where is Zanbai? Oh god, where is Zanbai? Am I missing him? Oh, there he's. There he's there. Like, I'm going to put Zambai up there. I really like Zambai, like, even more than kind of like Mozu and Kiwi. I feel like he was like the main representative of like the Frankie family underlings, and he had good development going through. You know, he was like the one that was at the forefront of all the fights. He was the one that was, you know, rallying them all the time to be like, we need to save our bro. And I love the kind of like I think he was like basically the boss of the back streets before Frankie showed up. Like, they showed that in a little flashback where the guys were kind of following him, and then Frankie kind of showed up, put them in line. But you can tell he clearly he loves Frankie, and his, you know, the way he's just a fun character, and I love the fact that he was the one after the arc was done. He was watching Frankie build as the ship, and he saw it. He saw it in Frankie, and like was the one that said to him, like, "I've never seen you like that. You need to leave with these guys. We'll be fine. Go and live your dream, and don't worry about us." So that was great. You know, Zambai's a good character. Nami. Oh, like they've used I like this, the wanted poster picture that Gen was raging about. Let's get her up there. Like, Nami's great. Like, one of the OG Straw Hats, and just, you know, she's just a great. I loved the fight that she got with Khalifa, because I feel like Nami doesn't get much, you know, fights. Like, she didn't get to like shit. Like, obviously, because like Luffy, Zoro, Sanji are the kind of like, they're the fighters. Like, they're the ones that get the badass fight moments. But Nami in this are getting to show off this new climb attack, getting to have this great fight with Khalifa. And like, I like the kind of like moments she had with like Sanji. When like, to be like, right, okay, you know, you're an idiot, but I understand your ideals. I understand why you couldn't hit this woman. But I'll take care of it, right? I'll go and deal with this, you know, and then just come in clutch. And the fact that, you know, her and Frankie hatching the plan together, what to do with the keys, what to do with Chopper. And I loved the speech. Like, the relief that she had in Water 7 when Iceberg explained to her about Robin's circumstances, and then her giving the speech to Iceberg to be like, don't worry about us, don't worry about these guys. Once they find out the truth about what's happening with Robin, their strength will know no limits. That's us now. Now that we know that it's okay to save her, and that she doesn't want to leave us, we're going for it. Like, it'll be fine. And like, Nami's just like, ever since Arlong Park, Nami's held a place in my heart. But I feel like, and like I said, at the end, I will sort them. Like, I'll sort the S and the A tier into ascending order of like where I rank them. Nami was up there, like, for a while. Like, she was like top 3 for me. As much as like I love her, she's probably slipped down a bit in these arcs, because my God, some of these other characters have came out swinging. You know, some of the ones that were in S tier before, some that weren't. Like, some new like, just like Nami, you know, her place is up there, but some of these other characters in these arcs have just been different level, and we'll talk about that when we get there. Who is this? Oh, I forgot about this guy. Yeah, I'll put him in D. Like, I forgot about this character. I remember who he was. He was like the new recruit for CP9. He was on the train, and Frankie like smashed him in the face, like through the top of the train. Yeah, Frankie fought him on top of the train, and then Lucci, you know, just destroyed him because he was like a disappointment. So, wasn't much to him. you know, he was there to show off Frankie's abilities, I believe, because a cyborg. He was okay. Lulu. Oh man, I like Lulu. Let's get Lulu in B. He's a good character. Him and Tailstone. You know, where's Tailstone? There he's there. Let's get Tailstone up there with his buddy. Those two were just great characters. Those two were like I loved it, like after all the dark stuff where the CP9, like the Galila traitors were revealed. Like these two became like a great comedy duo. Like the trio of Lulu, Tailstone, and Polly were great. I loved those guys. In fact, let's get Paul. There's Polly. He's up in A though. Like Polly's up there. Polly was the character that if Frankie wasn't going to join the crew, I'd take Polly. Right? I liked Lulu and Tailstone, but their characters didn't have as much depth as Polly did. And, like, they were really likeable characters, but Polly was just, you know, like, when, like I said, when we were in Water 7, and before I had the context of Frankie, Polly was the front runner for me. But I was like, this is the guy I want to, if I had to pick from the shipwrights that are there, I'd be taking Polly. Because, you know, look, she had a pigeon. Oh, man. Here we go. You know, Robin's mum. Let's get her up there. She's in A. It's tragic. A tragic backstory. You know, I liked her mum. I liked the... You know, the scene where she had to kind of try and ignore Robin to try and protect her. That was heartbreaking. That was heartbreaking. When Robin was crying and asking if it was her mum. My God, man. But I feel like she wasn't the kind of... I don't know how to say it. Like, she wasn't the kind of, like, influence on Robin's life that, like, Saul and Clover were. You know? In fact, it's making me second think Clover. I might move Clover up to A. If I'm putting Olivia in A, I'll put Clover up in A as well. Yeah. Because I feel like Saul and Clover were like the influences in Robin's life, whereas like she only had a short interaction with Olivia. And I liked the connection with Saul. I liked all that, but I didn't get much to her cat. Like, we didn't find out much about her, but except for her like convictions, and like she like obviously sacrificed herself to go with the archaeologists and try and save these books and stuff. A tragic end, and you know, like a sad story, but she wasn't like that. Like, she wasn't like the mum inspirational like moment like Belmere had. I feel like Belmere's death was just much more impactful, and like her sentiment hit me a lot harder than Olivia's did. But still a good character, you know. And Robin, let's get her up there. I mean, this arc, oh God, and they had to use this picture as well. My God, what a moment that was. Like, just, oh, do you know, I think, do you know, I might do a video as well this week. I might actually do a video where I rank the One Piece backstories. That could be an idea at this point, because, my God, the backstories are amazing. And this backstory, my God, like, I already loved Robin. I loved Robin. I loved her when she was Miss All Sunday. I thought she was a great villain, and I knew there was something more to her. I'm like, there's something about her. She's helping us. She's acting very strange. There's more to this character than it seems. And then when she joined the crew, all the like stuff in Skypiea, like the interactions we got with her, even like the watching her bond with the crew, even in like the Davy Back fight, Seeing her open her heart more and more to the crew was great. It was fantastic. And then to get all of this, to get this bombshell in Water 7, to get all the truth about her past, my God, it puts in context the reason that she is the way that she is, why she's so closed off, and such a backstory that just makes you go, oh my God, man, like, just, what a character. What a character. If there's anybody out there that has watched or read this series and has got to this point and doesn't love Nico Robin, I don't know what to say to that. Like, if you are one of those people, like, then that's insane to me. Like, she is such a good character, and I didn't think, like, I thought that Nami would be, like, up there for me, just from, because she's, like, it's very, and this is especially about One Piece, is, like, a lot of series, it's hard for them to bring in new characters and make them more endearing or beloved than the characters you've been with from the start, especially in a series this long. But my God, Oda, with Robin, you know, with Frankie, with, oh my God, like, some of these characters that brought in this arc, or even like the last arc, amazing. Like, and like in the flashbacks, like, with such little time, with some of them, you make you just fall in love with these characters. And this arc for Robin was the kind of like defining moment of being like, right, she is one of my favourite members on this crew. She is an amazing character. Like, Water 7 and Enies Lobby for me were Robin and Usopp were the MVPs. Like, there's no question. Those were the two characters that just got shoved into the spotlight and just got so much, like, just character development. And seeing Robin at the kind of like party in Water 7 after everything was done, seeing her relax, seeing her get it off her shoulders after she had that conversation with Aokiji, it just, when you're watching it, you can see 20 years of stress and like worry and just like not having a place to just be, to like be accepted, wash away, and her running towards her friends with a big smile on her face. My God, man, like, just the perfect character arc. Absolutely amazing. And I can't wait to see going forward now, Robin. Like, she's accepted who she is and that she's part of this crew. I cannot wait to see how she is going forward in the future arcs. It's going to be great. From the top of the top to the bottom of the bottom, the three-headed judge guy, Baskerville, is that it? Trash. The joke got old quick, you know, the reveal that it was three guys, three different people, okay, like, it's just, I think he stands out more to me as like a characters that I didn't like, because the other characters in this arc were so good, like the side characters and the villains. Like, this villain group of CP9 were amazing. Kumadori got annoying for me, yes, but I believe that in One Piece, this overall group was the best group of villains. Like, I think this group beats Baroque Works for me, because they were just seeming like a lot cooler, right? But this guy wore it as welcome quick. Let's just say that for Baskerville. Oh God, the woman from Foxy's crew. My God, what was her name? Is it Porsche? I believe it's Porsche, isn't it? Portia? Is that how you say it? I believe that is her name. Correct me if I'm wrong. She was actually okay. She was one of the more likeable members of Frankie's crew, I was going to say, of because they're all wearing those goggles. Like the goggles are confusing me. Of Foxy's crew. So let's get her next to Foxy. She was okay. You know, in fact, they don't have. Oh, like what was the big guy? The Hamburger. Well, he's not on here. I would have put him beside them as well. Like those three were kind of like together. Like I thought they were okay. But yeah, you know, not bad. Lucci. That's an S tier villain. That is an S tier villain right there. I don't know in terms of Crocodile. Like, because for me, he shot straight into the top three. Top three villains. Crocodile, Enel, Lucci. Right? But where would I put him? I think he's an S tier villain. Do you know what? He's not as... I'd put him below Crocodile and Enel, actually. Because I feel like those two had more of a personality. But I understand that that is part of Lucci's character. Because we got the flashback of him being in the world government from such a young age. And he, like, that is his personality. He is the world government, like, guy. That is him, right? He follows orders. Doesn't matter what those orders are. He's in there. No emotions about it. You know, kill all these hostages because they want to try and threaten the world government. Yeah, that's the way I'll do it. His devil fruit, like, you know, I like the way he uses devil fruit and the way that felt during the fight with Luffy. Because Enel and like Crocodile felt like Logia, like mountains to overcome. We're like, how do we beat these guys? And obviously we had to, like, obviously Luffy got lucky with Enel, but with Crocodile we had to come up with this plan to use the devil fruit against him. Lucci's devil fruit feels like it's perfectly for him, like for his fighting style, with the six powers and like the way he likes to fight. What if I as much as like I put Crocodile above Lucci as a villain, I put Lucci's fight at the top. Like Lucci's fight with Luffy is the best so far. You know, for me it was Crocodile, but now it's Luffy versus Lucci. Like the emotion at the end of that fight as Luffy was doing the jet Gatling and having all the flashes to everybody telling him things about Robin, and just so good. I am so glad when this guy started speaking. Like I was shocked. Like the twist about CP9 in Water 7 was amazing, right? But I was just so relieved that this guy started talking and I didn't have to listen to that pigeon anymore. But he is just a villain. Like remember, I'm not ranking this based on my favourite, like who I like more out of these characters. I am rating them. I'm trying to do it as what I think of them as characters. You know? So I'm not saying, oh, I like Lucci more than, you know, like Dragon and Chopper and stuff. I'm just saying, like, as a villain, he is an S tier villain. Up there with Enel and Crocodile. You know, like, just different level. You know, and let's get, I seen Sanji's here next. Let's get Sanji up there with him. You know, Sanji, he had some ups and downs in it because he was absent for a bit during Enies Lobby because of what happened with Khalifa. And I was a bit disappointed in him during the fight. Because of the... I understand Sanji's ideals and that the way he feels about women and that he couldn't, you know, fight them. The circumstances, though, for me, you know, like, we're there to save Robin. And this woman is quite clearly trying to kill him. And it's not as if it's like a civilian. It is an agent of the world government who is clearly trained as a killing machine. Like, you know, there's loads of things that were making me go, come on, Sanji. But, you know, like, that is who he is. That is what he's going to do. But then he redeemed himself. He did redeem himself. You know, the fight with Jabra, I can't pronounce it. Diable Jambe. Guys, you know I can't pronounce that, but it's awesome, right? An awesome ability. Makes him look badass, right? That fight was great. But for me, what's excelled Sanji in this... Now, Sanji was S tier for me ever since Alabasta. But in this arc, what shined for me with him was Sanji's time on the train. You know, he was absent. Like, he was absent for a bit in Water 7 and Enies Lobby, but there was a reason for both. This is his thing now. This is Sanji's thing. He did it in Alabasta as well. He did it in Skypiea. He disappears and then he's got a plan though, right? In Skypiea, he could tell something was happening and he was the only one that made it onto the sea train. And then him working his way through the sea train, finding Usopp and Frankie, having great moments with them, trying to save Robin, that was all great. You know, his fight on the sea train with Wanzi, I'll get to him. Wasn't a fan of that, but, you know, I did like when he used the knives. Like, that was a cool moment when he used the knives, right? That was badass. But, like, it was more of, like, the moments that Sanji has and his intelligence in these arcs. Him being the reason that we escaped Enies Lobby. Like, I love the way they did it, where they had him going into the room when he disappeared from the bridge. He went into the room and he found a lever. And then they just left it at that to be like, wait, what's Sanji doing? And the fact that he used that to close the gates of justice so the Whirlpools came back so that we could escape from these warships. That is genius. And that is what Sanji is known for now. He's the man with the plan. You know, he goes there. He comes in clutch. I have faith in him now. Every time Sanji disappears or I haven't seen him in a while, I'm just going to assume he's away doing something awesome that's going to pay off for us in the future. So let's not worry about it. Shanks. Let's get him up there. You know, every other tier list I've did with Shanks, he's been in A tier. Let's just get Shanks up into S tier now. Like, with the context of who Shanks is and seeing that interaction with Whitebeard, Shanks is... he's an awesome character, right? We knew that from his relationship with Luffy, you know, from like the first episodes or like the first chapter. It still blows my mind that they didn't do like the first chapter of the manga for like the first episode of the anime. It would have been so much more impactful because that is just such a great, you know, a great opening. Sanji's fantastic. Shanks is fantastic. And we're finding out more about his past now, and I am all for it. The fact that he is a member, was a member of Gold D. Rogers' crew with Buggy. Like, those flashbacks we were getting in the East Blue of them on a ship together, that was the Pirate King ship. That's insane. And he is known as one of the four emperors. Like, he's one of the four strongest, like, with Whitebeard. I don't know the other two's names yet. I don't think they were revealed to me. But he is, like, one of the most important people in this world, right? And I need more information on, like, it was a badass moment. He's walking on Whitebeard's ship and they're all fainting. I don't know what this Haki is yet. You know, the way they were trying to explain it, it seems like people can't hold their consciousness in front of him. So he's like got this imposing Haki kind of thing, and I don't know what. Like, I need more explanation on what that is. And I know you guys have told me, don't worry, down the line we'll find out more about that. That's fine, but it just like the way they were reacting to it, it's obviously really impressive, right? That he can do this. And it's like they were speaking about it on Whitebeard's ship. They were like, wow, like, it's as impressive as ever. So, like, he has this connection with Blackbeard as well. Like, we found out that Blackbeard was the one that gave him those scars. I want to know more about Shanks. I want to know more about Shanks, right? I'm going to stop talking about him. Like, I just want to say that my impression of Shanks has jumped up. I now believe that he is like just probably one of the most important characters in this series. But I'm going to stop talking about him right now because I'll save it for my predictions and theories video, because I have some thoughts on Shanks, right? I have some thoughts on Shanks, and we'll talk about it in that one. Oh, this is the captain. Oh, the Rust guy. Yeah. He was okay. You know, let's just put him in C. In fact, let's put him in D with his body here. You know, there wasn't much to him. I feel like the whole purpose of his character was to destroy one of Zoro's swords. I feel like that's the reason he was there. They gave him this rust ability to, like... There's going to be a reason behind it, right? Because Zoro's mentioned it a couple of times, like in the post-Enies lobby arc about the sword. And, you know, like he had a flashback to when he got it in the shop. This guy felt like he was there to basically be like, right, we need to get rid of this sword. And I feel like Zoro is about to get a new sword. And I guarantee you it's because it's going to be like another like legendary sword. Right? So I appreciate this character for that. And what makes me think that is, you know, and I'll talk about this again in the predictions video. The other two swords that he has, because I was so worried when this guy rusted one of them, I was like, oh my god, like thank god it wasn't Kuina's sword, right? Because we know that Kuina's sword is like, that is his like precious sword that we can never get rid of that. You know, that was passed on from Kuina. It's his promise to her to become the world's greatest, right? And from what we know from Tashigi, that it is I don't know if it's like a legendary sword, and it's like one of the, it's in the book as like, right, this is like one of the best swords about, right? Like it's a legendary sword, and then we find out that the one that he has that's cursed, and I can't remember the name of it, but he has one that's cursed as well, that's a legendary sword. So he's got these two legendary swords. The other sword was one, it was a good sword, like the best the guy had, right? I appreciate the guy giving it to us, but that wasn't a legendary sword, I don't believe. So that was kind of like expendable. So I feel like they've got rid of that, and now we're going to get another legendary sword. We'll see when that happens, but I feel like that's what that was getting set up as, right? Spandam. Right, let's get him up there. He's in A. He, a hateful guy, an absolute hateful character, but such a good bloody villain. Like, I hate this guy. I was actually close to putting him in S tier because I despise this man, and he made me despise him. The writing was so good. All the stuff that he was saying, like from the flashback, from him being responsible for what happened with Tom and with, you know, Frankie, and, you know, just all that, to present day when all the stuff with Robin. Oh my god, the way he was treating Robin, the way he was talking. Oh man, I despise this guy with a passion. I think that he probably would have been S tier if he wasn't so much of a comedy character, because he was heavily comedy based, right? Like, he was a very clumsy, like, punchline guy, but at the same, like, on the switch of a dime, a very hateful character. And, like, if they'd leaned more into that, he would probably be up there with Lucci. But I feel like this is a good spot for him, because he my God, like, he was a good figurehead for this arc, you know, for just being such a hateful guy. And seeing Robin snap his back, oh, God, it felt fantastic, you know. And here's his dad, like, I didn't, you know, his dad was kind of similar. In fact, let's put him down here. Like, his dad, there wasn't much to his dad. He was basically just there for the sake of the flashback, to be that spandom, to show that, like, listen, this is, the world government's always been this way, you know, his son's just as much of a clown as him, but, you know, like, I feel like in the flashback, he was just there to be the face of this ignorance. And the real kind of, like, ones that were impactful was, like, Aokiji and, like, Akinu and the kind of, like, elders and, like, the vice admirals. This guy was just there to just be an idiot and to, like, kind of taunt Olivia. So, like, Spandam did more of it, like, all the stuff from Water 7 leading up through and all the things he was doing in Eni's lobby. He built himself up into this great villain, whereas, like, his dad didn't get much of a chance. T-Bone, I like T-Bone. Let's put T-Bone up here. He's another one that seems like a good guy in the Marines. A very rare occurrence, I know. So now we've got, who we got now, right? We've got Kobe, Garp, Smoker, T-Bone. Saul was one, right? Saul was a good guy, but they kicked him out. Well, they didn't kick him out, he left. Aokiji, yeah, I would say Aokiji is, you know, for the reasons I stated before. So we've got a handful of good dudes. And I love the fact that T-Bone has this appearance as a very intimidating, scary guy, but he's, like, the most loved guy in the Marines by his, like, subordinates. They love him because he's such a caring commander. And that's great. You know, don't judge a book by its cover. Like, this guy, he was good. And obviously, it was built up as if it was going to be a much more impactful fight with Zoro. Zoro made quick work of him, but that doesn't take away from the fact that he seems like a good character. You know, like, it was a very short and sweet fight, but it was an epic moment. And, you know, like, seems like a good dude. I hope we see him again. I hope we see T-Bone again. Oh, Blackbeard. Right. Let's get Blackbeard up there. And he's not quite S tier for me yet. Right? I feel like he's going to be. I feel like that interaction we got there, like the fight with Ace in that episode, that was the signal for me that this guy is going to be probably the main villain of One Piece. And, like, it was set up as well that he was going to be important. That was set up from Jaya with the interaction he had with Luffy, right? But I need more from him. Right, it's the same with, like, I'm feeling the same way I do about Blackbeard right now as I did with Shanks. I've seen too little of him, but don't get me wrong, getting this information about his backstory, getting this information about his character, this devil fruit that he has that seems insane. But I want to know more about him, more about his motivations, you know, more about his past when he was part of Whitebeard's crew. Give me more of that. You know, like, Shanks for me was the same, where I was going through and, like, every couple of arcs I'd get a little scene of Shanks and it built up more to the mystery. That's where I am with Blackbeard right now, where I'm like, right, give me more of this character. Although, like, we are not ready for him. Like, he seems to be gung-ho on trying to catch Luffy. We're not ready to fight this guy. After watching what happened there with Ace, Luffy wouldn't stand a chance against Blackbeard at this point. So, I hope we avoid him. I don't want to... And I'm wondering how his crew would stack up against the Straw Hats as well. Because he seems OP, right? But how would the likes of, you know... How would the likes of Burgess go up against, like, Zoro? How would that shake out? You know, like, we haven't really had much context to, like, how strong the other four are. You know, because Blackbeard was quite angry when they kind of tried to step in when he was going to fight Ace. Because he was like, you guys ain't ready for this guy. Like, this... I was on a crew with this guy. You step back, right? Don't get involved in this. So, I want to know more. Give me more of Blackbeard. But also, I'm worried. You know, like, the fact that we didn't get the conclusion to that fight. I hope that Ace... Like, I don't think that Ace is going to win the fight. My hope is that he can just hold Blackbeard off. And because it seems like too big a task. I feel like Shanks was right. Shanks was right. Like, Ace isn't ready to fight this guy. Because Shanks is saying this about him. And that was before he had this devil fruit. Like, he gave Shanks those scars before he had that devil fruit. So that's insane. Like, he was already really strong. And the fact that he took a bit of damage against Ace, yes. But I think that the reason for that is that devil fruit gave him that handicap of attacks hurt him so much more now. Because, like, it's like the handicap of, right, this is a Logia, but this Logia has so many, like, advantages that you can't turn into, like, you can't do what Ace does and, like, Smoker does and turn into the element. You have to absorb it. So darkness absorbs everything. So if you get punched, you're taking the punch and you're going to feel it harder than a normal person would feel it. Or if you get set on fire like you did against Ace, he's going to feel extreme pain from that more than a normal person would. And I like that because that, like, it balances out, like, I like that Oda does that with a lot. Like, we've seen that a few times. Like, with Luffy's abilities that we got in this arc, he has a drawback. You have that handicap. That is good. Like, because, like, if you don't do that, you get into territory with, like, Dragon Ball, where it just becomes nonsensical, where, like, people can just, like, you know, the power-ups get more and more crazy, and, you know, you can just destroy planets, and, like, nobody's there to kind of keep you in check. I like that, you know, like, Oda very much is, like, he scales them to be like, right, this guy's power is insane, but here's the problem with it. You know, it gives you that kind of, like, right, so we can still maybe do something here. And that's what's great about Oda's, I wouldn't call it power scaling, but, like, that, like, the way he writes, like, powers and, like, abilities. The Thousand Sunny, right, you know, middle of the road for the Thousand Sunny right now. Let's put it in B. And don't get me, like, you've got to remember, guys, I've just been introduced to this ship, like, a couple of episodes ago. So, we've just got on this ship, right? I love the design. Love the design. I love that the figurehead with the lion, it very much gives you that merry feeling, right? That's great. I love that the deck is grass. Awesome. The tree with the swing on it. I still haven't seen inside it. I really want to see this aquarium they keep talking about. Give me a tour of the inside of this ship. Like, I'm hoping that when we come back with the canon stuff after the filler, or in fact, maybe they'll show us during the filler, because they have to be on the ship. So maybe I'm going to see inside the ship during the filler. Oh, that would suck. I won't be able to record it then if that's the case. Ah. Well, when I come back in the video after, I'll give my impressions on the inside of the ship. But as it stands right now, I am hoping that I get to the point of love for this ship like I do for Mary now. I really do, you know. I felt like I was going to hold a grudge against whatever ship we got just because of Mary. You know, I didn't want to move on from Mary, but we've moved on, and it does look awesome, right? Let's be fair. And from the things that Frankie was talking about, I can't wait to see all these things that he's done and the things that he's talking about that's part of the ship. And the fact that it can, you know, shoot into the air with the same kind of thing that Frankie does with the cola, that's great. That's fantastic. That's a nice touch. Nice touch. Tom. Oh, man. Tom's a great character. Do you know what? I'm going to put him in A. I'll put Tom in A. I was going to go S. See, this is the thing. I feel like Tom and Saul, for me, could be an S tier. They were very good flashback characters. Very impactful on the lives of Frankie and Robin. But, you know, for me, like, the one that sticks in my mind, like, flashback-wise, is Hero. Like, Hero for me was just amazing. Like, I loved that character and his, you know, impact. But, or like a Nolan. I love Nolan, like, so much. But these guys were just, they were there to, you know, inspire Frankie and Robin. That was what they were there for, and I love that. But with Tom, a lot more mysterious in terms of his connections, you know, because we found out that he actually built the ship of Goldie Roger, the ship that Shanks was on, that Buggy was on, apparently. He built that ship from the same wood that Frankie's used to build the Thousand Sunny. Great stuff. Like the way he would talk, the speech he gave to Frankie when he punched him, when Frankie kind of like denounced the ships that he'd built. You know, the pride that he held was great. You know, like, and just seeing a kind of like Fishman character like this, it makes me so curious about Fishman Island, because like, the only other ones that I had kind of like met were either the bad guys from Arlong Park or the goofy ones from like Foxy's crew. So seeing this kind of Fishman, it makes me want to, like, I'm like, right, let's see what Fishman Island's all about. And it makes me think, like, is Tom known on Fishman Island? Like, do they know, like, do the people on Fishman Island know of Tom as like a legendary shipwright that built Goldie Roger's ship? That's going to be interesting when we go there to see if anybody mentions Tom. That would be great. Or Kokoro, you know, that would be awesome. But yeah, just a great character, just a great, you know, flashback character that inspires the Straw Hats, like the future generation. And he was just such a lovable guy, just a lovable character, you know, like the father figure you want. And that seems to be like a recurring theme in One Piece, is that almost every member of the crew has family or people that inspired them that are like father figures or mother figures that aren't blood related to them. It seems to be like a recurring theme that at One Piece, like, family is what you make of it. You can make your own family. Blood isn't like the definitive what makes you a family. You know, you think about like Shanks for Luffy, Belmere for Nami, what can you say for Usopp? Really, like, well, Usopp it was actually like his mum and his dad, but like that's a weird one because like his dad left. So like the one inspiration that was actually blood related, like, abandoned his son, okay? So we leave that there. Like, for Zoro, it was like kind of like his master in Kuina. Sanji Zeph, you know, oh my god, like, there you go. There's another, you know, amazing flashback character, father figure. For Chopper, Dr. Hiraluk, you know, Robin, Sol, Clover. It's just, it's a great theme throughout the series. I love it, you know, and I love. The only thing though that concerns me is that every time we go into a flashback now and I see a character, I'm like, oh, they're dead, aren't they? They're going to be dead, and it's going to make me really sad. You know, because like we didn't actually get to see Tom's death, which makes me be like, right, okay, well, what happened with Pearl? But you know, the way they described it with like Enies Lobby and the way it works, I think it's safe to say that he's gone. Like Tom is gone, which is sad. Usopp, get him up there. Get him up there. What an arc for Usopp. I mean, the two of them, my God, man. Like, I feel like Usopp is a character that can be very divisive, right? I forgot to mention this to you guys, right? I've actually convinced my friend, who has never watched anime in his life, no interest in anime, no interest in manga, I have convinced him to start watching One Piece. And I think in a future video, I'm going to get him on the channel and like get his, like, and just like, I'll have a discussion. Like me being someone who's got to like this point, to talk to him and I'm going to wait until he gets to like, maybe like finish the East Blue. When he finishes the East Blue, I'll speak to him and be like, right, tell me what you think. But I've been having discussions with him, like here and there, to be like, right, where are you? Like, what are you thinking? And he is loving it, right? Which, God, it makes me feel so happy. He's loving it. But I feel like Usopp, because in the East Blue, Usopp is a character that I know for him is going to be, you know, like Usopp and Nami. Like, before you get to Arlong Park, he doesn't like Nami, right? And I feel like he's when he gets to Arlong Park, that'll change, right? But I feel like he's gonna like dodgy on Usopp. I understand that, right? But I feel like with Usopp, he is the one out of every member of the crew that just, like, the character development and like the likability just jumps and jumps and jumps as you go through the arcs. Like, he's hilarious, right? He is the comedy master. Like, along him with Luffy and Chopper are just great together. It's a great dynamic, you know, the way they bounce off each other. But he, like, being how serious this was in this arc, I feel like if you have that kind of opinion against Usopp and maybe don't like his character, if these arcs here, if Water 7 Enies Lobby don't change your mind, then you're never going to like him, because like, it was amazing. Like, just the fight with Luffy is one of my favourite moments so far in this series. It was so surprising, and to see this turmoil, to see his connection and love for the Going Merry and what happened because of all that, and just to watch that build, explode, and then the kind of awkward, like, him having to come back and, you know, face the crew again, because, like, you knew he wasn't going to leave Robin. He was never going to leave Robin high and dry. Like, Usopp would never do that. So for that to happen, him to come back, and the way he did it, like, all the stuff that happened, like his new weapon, just the way he kind of, like, that, the moment on top of the tower when he saved Robin, my God, like it felt like the speech he gave to Robin on the train about Luffy and about, you know, just I mean, it was. I know that this arc was like focused around about Robin's backstory and her, you know, it was her story, right? But for me, Usopp, my God, like the spotlight was shone on him hard, and it was just he has jumped so many people. Like you'll see it when I rearrange this at the end. Like just bit like Usopp for me, wow! Like what a change in my perception of his character. And like going forward, just like put the respect on Usopp's name. Just put the respect on, and that's why I'm hoping with my friend when he's making his way through the series, he kind of sees this progress of Usopp, and that's something I'll be keeping, I'll be keeping on tabs of that, like just to be like, right, how do you feel about Usopp? Because I'm curious to that, to be like somebody who doesn't watch anime, doesn't read manga, how they'd feel about this character and like him going forward. Just that, because Usopp is the guy that is meant to be like us. Like if we were a member of the crew, we'd be Usopp. He's like the normal guy. He doesn't have stupid, like crazy strength or powers like Sanji, Zoro, Luffy. He doesn't have, a devil fruit like Chopper or Robin. He's not a cyborg like Frankie. He doesn't have like the navigation skills that Nami does. Like Nami's probably one of the most important members of the crew because they ain't going far without her. So Usopp is kind of like that. And I think those insecurities came out of him during that fight with Luffy, where he spoke about he feels himself that he is a burden to them. They don't feel that way. He feels that, and you can see that it's been playing on him after that fight, and to see that all coming out. But when you look at it, it's like he's like a jack of all trades. He's like the handyman. He's the sniper. He's the inventor. He has the much needed like gel of the crew. And I feel like he's kind of like the, like, can you remember this? And God, it's such a long time. Like what a reference this is. But I used to watch the Justice League cartoon. Remember the Justice League, and then it became Justice League Unlimited. I see Usopp as like kind of like the Flash, like because like for that he was like obviously the funny, quirky guy, and the rest of them were all like legendary like powerhouses. But he was the one that kept them together, and like he was like the humanity of the group. That's the way I kind of see Usopp. He is like he's needed, and you can see it when he left the crew. Like they just boom, like they hit the dumps, like they were devastated, and like I like that they kept referencing it where like you realised how much he contributes when like Chopper would talk about like, oh yeah, Usopp would do that, or like Nami would be speaking about like, oh yeah, like Usopp like upgraded my weapon and stuff, and then they'd be all depressed like, oh yeah, Usopp. It's just he's an amazing character. And like we'll sort it. Like I said, we'll sort it. We'll go through the rankings at the end. We'll talk about it more. I don't know this guy's name. The kind of like sniper for Blackbeard's crew. He's okay. Probably put him in C. I don't see him like being as cool as like Burgess. But I like him better than like the Doctor and like that Lafitte guy. I liked it when he took a shot at Ace. He tried to be smart. He tried to be fly and get like a sneaky shot off on Ace. Bad move, And Blackbeard, Blackbeard was angry about it. He's like, "What are you doing? Like, don't do that, man. Like this guy's, you're not ready for this guy." But yeah. But I need to see more from him. I need to see more from this guy before I can like give more of impressions on him. Oh, lovely. Here we go. Trash. Onesie. Guys, a bad character. This is a bad character, you know, and it's. I think it stands out more because this arc has such good, damn side characters. So this guy just sticks out like a sore thumb. He got old quick. I'm glad that, you know, when, he's up there with Satori for me. And guys, I cannot believe that when you guys told me that it's the same voice actor. My God, like this voice actor better not come back again, because it'll be another horrible character probably like this. The fact that this is the same person that voices these two characters, wow, unbelievable. Because like that is the first person I thought of when this character came into it. I was like, oh my God, this is going to be Satori all over again. Thankfully, it wasn't as long as Satori. Satori very much overstayed his welcome. This fight was over in a not bad amount of time, but I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling this guy. Not for me. Whitebeard. Let's get Whitebeard up. An A. Now, I feel like Whitebeard is just a very important character. A very important character, but the problem is, like, he looks badass. He looks badass. That moment with Shanks was awesome, but I need more. I need to know more about him, because at this stage, I've only seen him a couple of times with a couple of interactions, like once with like kind of Shanks, and then with that, like that guy, Rockstar, that was on Shanks' crew. That was really it. I want to know more about, like, it's been revealed that like his introduction was the strongest man in the world. So this guy is obviously on another level, right? And the fact, obviously, he clashed with Shanks and like they split the skies, but it seems like this guy was a lot stronger, like in his prime maybe, because he, like the way they described it is the fact that he's like classed as the world's strongest man, but he looks like he's unwell. Like he's hooked up to like drips and stuff. He has nurses round about him. So he's clearly worse for wear, right? He's getting old. So I feel like the title of strongest man in the world might not be with him for long. And I feel like maybe Shanks is trying to take that. Not trying to take it, but I feel like he's going to end up taking it from him. Just based on, you know, the way it looks with his health problems. But I really want to know more about him. I want to know more about, you know, I want to see him and Ace interacting to see what because Ace obviously loves him. Ace loves the guy and has such high respect for him. That was clear even in Alabasta when he was talking to Luffy about Whitebeard. So if Ace, like, he must be a good guy, right? Whitebeard must be a good guy. If Luffy's brother follows this guy and wants to make him the Pirate King, he must be a good dude, right? And obviously, like, Blackbeard, like, I want to know more about Blackbeard being on that crew and just how that crew operates in general. Like, we saw a couple of them, like when Shanks come on board, so we got a couple of like, the characters. I don't know their names yet, but I want to know more about Whitebeard and his crew, definitely. And, you know, obviously the fact that he is like a very important figure in this world. Yokozuna. Let's get Yokozuna up there. Let's get him in B. Come on. I love Yokozuna. Yokozuna's great. You know, the fact that he's like a sumo wrestler, Yokozuna, like Frog, it blew my mind where he, like, when he was at the start of the arc, and I was like, why is this Frog trying to fight against trains? You know, it was very confusing. Like, what is this Frog doing? And the people there, like the train conductor, like Kokoro and that, obviously know him. And they're like, oh, that's just Yokozuna. And you're like, what's up with this frog? Like, why, and like, why is he like doing like the front crawl swimming? Like, 'cause they made a reference to that. To get the context and the flashback, to find out that this frog was there as like a member of Tom, maybe not a member, but like part of Tom's workers. And, you know, there with Iceberg and Frankie when they were young. Frankie was the one that taught him how to swim. And the reason that he fights against this sea train is because he was there with Frankie when Frankie tried to stand against the sea train to stop them from taking Tom away. So much like depth, like it's crazy that you can get this much character depth to a frog. And there's some anime out there that like there's side characters that are just like so bland and like Oda gives this much like time and effort into developing this frog story. It's insane, right? It's crazy. And obviously him being part of the raid on Eni's lobby, you know, jumping in to save Nami from the big kind of balls with the chains on them and stuff, and like holding them off at the courthouse. Yokozuna was great. I love Yokozuna. He was like, just a great frog. Khalifa. You know what? I think Khalifa's probably up there in B as well. Like Khalifa's great. In fact, you know what? I'm going to move Fukuro up as well. Well, thinking about it there, like Fukuro, I liked Fukuro actually like more than I'm letting on, because like he really surprised me. And Khalifa was just, you know, like the sexual harassment stuff was weird. that was a strange character quirk that I was like, okay, it's a strange one. But she was, you know, like she played her part well. I love the, like I said before, I love the fight with Nami. I loved it. I love that she's a bit of an idiot, you know. I love that she thought that Nami was the one that transformed into like Chopper's big form. Like she thought that was Nami. That was funny. But, you know, seeing her, I like that she quickly realised what the deal was with Sanji. And she kind of went, okay, this guy isn't going to hit me. And she took full advantage of it. Her power was very strange. A very strange devil fruit power, but at this stage, you know, we've got, you know, swords turning into elephants and dog guns. It's all fair game. It's all fair game at this point, guys. But, like, she was just, like, probably out of all, like, she's probably, you know, I put her and Fukuro kind of level. I kind of like them the same. And then Bluno above them. But, yeah, no, she was still great. Like, a great design. And just a well done. Because you wanted to see her get beat up. She played her part well. She was a villain that you wanted to see her. Like, because the arrogance was there. You know, it was the same with, like, kind of like Kaku and, like, Lucci. She had it as well, where you're like, oh, please, can't wait for her to get beat up, man. Oh, this is the guy. Akinu. Let's put him in B just now, because I know nothing about him. Like, he's been mentioned a couple of times, and what surprises me is he was mentioned in the G8 arc by Jonathan. So like Jonathan seems to be like one of Akinu's like guys. So like Akinu supports him, like from what the guy from headquarters was saying. And that seems strange, because Jonathan seems like such a good guy. And this guy doesn't. This guy seems like a bad dude, right? And I am worried to meet him in the present day. Because I've only seen him in the flashback. I've seen him in Ohara. And this guy just blew up a ship full of civilians that weren't even archaeologists, just to be like, right, we need to be safe. Let's just blow them up. Nobody's leaving this island. And like even Aokiji was shocked by that. Aokiji was like, what? What is this guy doing? So I feel like he's very much like, I know he's an admiral in present day, the same as Aokiji. he seems to be on the side of like the five elder guys and like these vice admirals that we saw. They are the bad side of the world government. So like, I feel like you have like your good group and your bad. Like, I like that these sides are forming in the world government for me in the Marines, where you have the group of Garp, Alkaji, Smoker, Kobe, it's just like those guys, Saul, if he was still alive, and the guys of, and Belmere, if she was still alive. If I keep forgetting that Belmere was a Marine. Oh man, like all the good Marines get killed off. It's insane, and like all these scumbags get to like rise to high positions. I don't know how Garp is a vice admiral. Like, well, saying that, I feel like because he went up against Goldie Roger, they're probably like, right, okay, like his son's like a horrible, war criminal and stuff and blah blah, but he's like, he's a hero, so we can't really do anything. Whereas they quite, they basically told Smoker to get in line, right? But the other side, you have like these vice admiral guys, the Akinu, the elders. It just very like all the people we met in the East Blue that were part of the Marines, scumbags. The Axan Morgans and stuff, just like the guy that was there at Arlong Park, just bad people, basically. And as you have that divide, and it's going to be interesting to see this guy in the present and how he interacts with the like of an Alkaji or a Garp. How does he get on with them? Is what I want to know. How do the five elders as well, how do they feel about Garp? And how Garp's personality is, and like Garp's son and his grandsons. Because you think about it, if they do know about it, they'd be like, yeah, man, this guy, his son is like leading a revolutionary army to go against us, and his two grandsons, one is taking down our warlords and destroying our judicial island and declaring war on us, and the other one is a high commander in Whitebeard's crew. It's one of the emperors that's trying to be like the Pirate King. What's up with this family? That's I want to see how those people like view each other. Kaku. Let's get Kaku up in A. He is obviously like, it's him and Lucia, like the two main CP9 guys, and like I feel like the comedy, like I know I talk about some aspects of comedy characters of it's sometimes holding people back. Like I put it against Spandam, but the comedy for Kaku, I feel like that worked great. Like the giraffe stuff was fantastic. I loved the giraffe stuff. Like it didn't wear out its welcome for me. I thought it was hilarious. And the fighting style with it was great. But even without that, I loved his, attitude and design when I thought he was a good guy, when I thought he was part of Galila, and he was one of the ones along with Polly where I was like, I could see him joining the crew. The thing that threw me off of him joining the crew was the fact that he had like a long nose, and I thought, right, well, we can't have two guys on the crew whose gimmick is that they've got a long nose, one with a square one, right? It feels weird, right? But the fight with Zoro was great. It was a great fight. And I feel like out of all of them, Kaku felt the most sympathetic. Like at the end, like when he was beaten by Zoro and he was having the conversation, I feel like he was only one that kind of like felt regret towards the fact of lying and like tricking Galila. I feel like he actually became friends with them. You know, when he was giving up the key and Zoro gave him the message from Polly, he seemed genuinely sad about it. You know, so there's more depth to his character with that, and I like that. I like that from Kaku. Garp. Let's get Garp up there in A as well. Like, I love his character. Like, what an introduction. Like, I've just, like, obviously, we've met him before, but I didn't know who he was. Like, we met him in the East Blue with, like, Kobe and stuff, and then him training Kobe and Helmeppo. But he wore his mask, obviously, and didn't reveal who he was. It's just been revealed to me who he is and how his personality is. He's basically like an old version of Luffy. And as a Vice Admiral in the Marines, which blows my mind. That is crazy, right? Luffy's granddad, a Vice Admiral. But watching those two interact was great, hilarious. And watching everybody else round about them react to this crazy situation that was unfolding, to be like, what do we do here? Like, do we step in? Like, what do we do here? Great stuff. And seeing, like, how he trained Luffy when he was little. It's insane. You know, throwing him into the jungle, attaching him to balloons. It seems a bit eccentric, right? And it's the same with, like, Whitebeard, the same with, like, some of these, like, Dragon. I need to know more about him. I need to know more, because he obviously has such a storied past, and I'd like to find out more, and hopefully we do, like, soon, just so I can get some context as to how this family works. This family seems insane, and I want, because, like, the thing that baffles me as well is his son is, like, the most wanted criminal in the world, but he doesn't seem to hold like animosity towards him. Like, the way he spoke about it with Luffy was a kind of like, oh yeah, I heard you met your dad in Logtown, and it seemed like a casual family conversation. It seems so weird. Like, I just want to know more about this family and, like, the history of it. And I'll speak more, obviously, in the predictions and, like, theories video of, like, what I think about this and, like, some of the bombshells that he dropped. But, you know, like, just a great character introduction, and it made you like him very quickly. It seemed very, you know, funny and just like a good character right off the bat. Oh, Luffy, get on up there. Get on up in the S where you belong. Like, Luffy, what can I say about Luffy at this point, guys? Like, just my favourite protagonist ever. Like, he has cemented himself as my favourite protagonist in anime and manga. Just, like, him, for me, like, he's up there now with me. Him and Onizuka from GTO, which some of you may know, like, my favourite manga series of all time. I love this guy. And seeing the turmoil that he had to go through, like, with Usopp in this arc, it just made me love him even more, because it was just that kind of, you could feel the pain. You could feel the pain, you could feel these, like, I don't want to be doing this. Like, this is just, it just didn't want to be doing it. It's just, but, you know, in typical Luffy fashion, rallies together, rallies the crew. That fight with Lucci, my God, like, that ending and, like, the cry of emotions and him shouting out to Robin. Oh man, I love him. Like, he's what I can say about him is, like, other long running shonen that I've watched, the main character at times annoys me, right? I'm talking about the likes of Naruto. I'm talking about Goku from Dragon Ball. I'm talking about Ichigo from Bleach. All of them get to a point where I just go, come on, man. Like, just like whether it be character traits or decisions they make, you know, I've never had that with Luffy. I've never had that with Luffy, and I feel like he is the perfect balance of comedy, like when to be, you know, kind of crazy, like the way he acts sometimes, compared to when he gets serious. And I love him. Like, I love his view of the world. I love his ambition and the way he views his friends. He is just, he's an inspirational main character, and he just deserves to, like, he will never leave S tier. He's been S tier from the East Blue, and he is the main man. Like, nobody's going to change my mind on it. Like, Luffy is the GOAT, right? And that's it. And I'm only, like, I'm like a quarter of the way, maybe, in fact, not even, well, yeah, maybe a quarter of the way through this series. And, like, the fact that he's made me feel this way just now, like, and I've got so much more to go, I cannot wait to see how Luffy develops. And just, like, some of these moments in this arc, you know, watching him at Mary's funeral, you know, breaking down and, like, speaking to the Mary and apologising on behalf of, like, himself and the crew. Oh, man, broke my heart. And I can't remember, like, the woman's name that does his voice. Like, somebody told me it, but I know that obviously it's the same voice actress that does Krillin from Dragon Ball. And my God, just amazing. Amazing. And if this arc made me appreciate anything, like especially with Usopp as well and Robin, the voice acting. My God, the voice acting in this arc was just on a different level from anything I've ever seen. Amazing stuff. And Luffy's just, like, we'll sort the rankings out, we'll talk about it more, but yeah, Luffy. Ace. God, do I want to put Ace in S tier? I feel like Ace might deserve S tier at this point. That fight with Blackbeard was amazing. You know what? I'm going to keep him in A just now. I'm going to keep Ace in A just now because it's the same as, I'm looking at Ace the same way I do with, like, Shanks, where I'm like, I need more. I need more screen time from Ace. Like, his entrance in Alabasta, well, we saw him in Drum, you know, like, to give Luffy the message. But, like, his official, like, here I am, Ace, Luffy's brother, amazing. One of the best, like, intros in the series. His ability is badass. One of my favourite Devil Fruits. It just looks so cool. And seeing him during that fight with Blackbeard, like, all the fire coming down from the buildings and coming back into him, my God, right? Epic. He is one of the best character designs in the series, without a doubt. But I need to see more from him. He's on. It's like Chopper for me. He's on the brink of S tier. But I need more. And I feel like we're going to get there. You know, he's like Shanks for me, where I'm like, right, I know I'm going to see more from this character down the line. And every time he shows up on the screen, I'm just so happy to see him. So I want more. Just give me more Ace. And, like, but give me, do you know what I really want? And I think that will push him into S tier for me. Give me Luffy and Ace's backstory. Give me the childhood. Give me them being raised by Garp. Because that seems to be what's happened, right? Garp has raised them in the jungle, apparently. And, like, being, like, just like a crazy parent, or, like, parent figure. Because Garp gave us that context of, like, the way that he would what he would do with Luffy, and Luffy had no idea who his dad was. Luffy had no idea who his dad was. So I don't know if that's the same for Ace. I don't know if Ace knows that Dragon is the dad, but I'm guessing if Luffy didn't know, maybe because Ace is a bit older, he maybe know. But the question there is, when did Dragon leave? You know? He must have, because like he must have been there for Ace being young, and then when Luffy was born, but Luffy has like no memories of Dragon. So it makes you think around about the time frame of when Dragon became like a revolutionary. And then it gives me more questions of the mum. I really want to know about who's their mum. You know? Because that's never been mentioned yet. And the mayor, when we were in their like, home village, he mentioned Garp and he mentioned someone called Dadan. But we don't know who that is either. Like, that's never been mentioned again. So, I feel like that's what will push Ace into S tier for me, is give me the actual, like, them when they were young. We got some, like, Luffy gave us some context for, like, Ace would beat Luffy up even before he got his devil fruit, so Ace has always been stronger. Like, show me their childhood. Show me, you know, and, like, what I also want to know is, where was Ace when Luffy met Shanks? Because obviously Ace hadn't left to become a pirate at that age. He's only a couple of years older than Luffy, so he must have been there. So, and like, Shanks obviously knows Ace because he mentioned it to Whitebeard. He said to Whitebeard, like, get Ace, like, he's not ready to fight Blackbeard. So Shanks knows him. So I wonder, did Shanks meet Ace back then? These are the questions, right? So we'll think more about that. But right now, happy with Ace and A tier, right? Zoro, let's get him straight up where he belongs. Oh, let's get him up there. Bang. Legend. Absolute legend. And, you know, you guys all know that's followed the channel for a while that Zoro, one of my favourite characters, he always has been. He's just the vice captain, you know, he speaks when he needs to. You know, he has his flaws, you know, his sense of direction being one, yes, but, you know, Zoro's just a badass, just an absolute badass. And seeing a couple of moments in these arcs here where you felt like, right, this is the guy. This is Luffy's support. This is Luffy's right-hand man. You know, when Luffy was, you know, crying after what happened with Usopp, the fight, Zoro's the one that said to him, listen, come on, like, you need to do this here. Like, we need to trust you. We need to put our faith in you. You can't fall apart here. You know, holding him up after a quite, you know, a really bad situation that happened. And then that that speech he gave to the crew when they were talking about going and getting Usopp back, because they were all quite happy to be like, right, yeah, let's go and get Usopp. Like, he wants to come back. Sanji heard them saying he wanted to come back. Let's go and get him. Zoro's like, nah, that ain't happening. Like, not after what he did. Like, the way he left, the things he said. Like, Zoro wanted him back. Zoro wanted him back, just like everybody else, but wasn't about that. You know, it was like, the first words that came out of his mouth better be, I'm sorry. Is that because this guy, he said, like, this guy here, like, you might be an idiot. This is the captain. Put respect on him, right? If you don't respect him, we fall apart. I love that. I love that Zoro, no matter what, ever since it's been just the two of them together, he has Luffy's back, and it's what I love about him so much. Those two are just, the bond they share is amazing to me. And ever since, like, moments like when Zoro raised the sword and was crying and made the declaration after he got beat by Mihawk, moments like that, You know, like he is there. He is ride or die for Luffy. And I love the fact it was pointed out to me as well that when Usopp appeared and was like making excuses and shouting out things to be like, listen guys, like you're not gonna leave me, like listen, blah blah, like forget all that stuff. Zoro and Luffy pretended that they couldn't hear him. And like Chopper was like you can hear him, like we can all hear him, yeah. But they pretended they couldn't hear him because Zoro made the statement, the first words that came out of his mouth better be I'm sorry. And then as soon as he screamed out that apology, the smile on Zoro's face, like, yes, Usopp, that's it, that's what I needed from you. Let's get back in here. Great stuff. I love this crew. I love Zoro so much. You know, just different level character. And you know, that's what's so special for me is, like I was saying before, my favourite cast ever. It's so strong. It's crazy how strong it is. But yeah, just love it. Now, here we go. Last one. Now, this is because of you guys, right? I want you to take a long, hard look at yourselves because I had to ask for a tier list that had Usopp and Sogeking as separate characters. Just because I knew that in the comments you would all start your nonsense, right? You would start your nonsense and start being like, oh, Mark, whatever one of them wasn't on it, like whether it be, you know, Sogeking, oh, you ranked Usopp, but where would you put Sogeking? Because they're clearly different people. Ha ha ha. Very bloody good, right? I know what you guys are like, so here we go, right? You wanted him by himself? That's fine. There he is. Bang. Trash. I hope you're happy. I hope you're all happy. No. Right. Okay, let's be serious. Right. Sogeking. If I were to put him somewhere as like his own character, I'd put him in A. Because, you know, he's the alter ego of Usopp, and he was very much basically he was there to be a gimmick so that Usopp could fight alongside his crew that he's just left without making it awkward. Don't get me wrong, the song is absolutely fantastic. The introduction of Sogeking, fantastic. The fact that, you know, but like all the impactful moments for me, well, no, I was going to say, I'm wrong, right? I was going to say all the impactful moments for me was when Usopp was himself. Like the fight with Luffy, like when he's screaming out to Luffy after, like when he's in the middle of the fight with Lucci and stuff. But that's wrong, actually, because he's Sogeking when he shoots the flag. He is Sogeking when he saves Robin from the Tower of Justice, right? So that some epic moments from Sogeking, actually, right? So yeah, he does have some great moments as Sogeking, and I love. I was going to say I love it, but I kind of love it and hate it at the same time that it's Sogeking that's on the bounty. I want Usopp's name to get out there. I want Usopp to be a wanted man. I want, like, even, I'm happy that when we went back to Syrup Village, the Usopp pirates and Kaya recognised it was him. Thank God, right? I'm glad that they are happy for him. But I want Usopp to, because like they said that the villagers don't believe them. I want all of his village to know that he's made it. I want them to be like, oh man, like Usopp's out there, he's living his dream. But yeah, get me wrong, I like Sogeking, and I hope that we see Sogeking again going forward, like, because like I don't know if he is going to ever do it again, like if it's going to become like a character thing, because like he doesn't need it anymore. You know, the purpose of the character was because he was hiding from the crew. And maybe hiding's not the best word, but he didn't want it. He didn't want to deal with the awkwardness of the fact that he just left and now he has to fight alongside them, but he wasn't going to leave Robin, you know. So that's it, you know. And you know, Sniper Island, it's in our hearts, guys. It's in our hearts, and that's what you need to remember when you're ranking Sogeking. So that is my thoughts on them, right? On that. And so now what I'll do is, like I usually do, I will do the A and S. I'll move them about based on, you know, where I kind of put them, right? So Chopper's the top of A, right? I am very, like, I'll probably change my mind tomorrow about Chopper, and I'll probably put him in S. That's how on the brink I am. But there's just a part of me that's just kind of like, I need more from Chopper. I need more from the character. So yeah, he's at the top though, right? Ace is behind Chopper, right behind Chopper. So he's up there, kind of going in there. I would say after them, Blackbeard's up there, you know, as a villain. Just like, you can tell he's going to be a very important part of this series. Very important part. And, you know, just, I feel like it's the foreshadowing of Blackbeard. Like, from the interaction with Luffy, the interaction with Ace, it's basically, I feel like Oda's basically screaming out to me, like, just, this guy's going to be the big bad, right? So just watch out. After Blackbeard, I'd probably say Kobe. In fact, you know what? Aokiji. Aokiji's just such a cool character. Then Kobe. Tom. In fact, I'd maybe even put Tom above Kobe. Tom was great. Tom was a fantastic. And then get Saul up there as well. Saul and Tom there. Iceberg, I'm happy with Iceberg there. Iceberg, I loved Iceberg. Let's get the likes of like Jabba. Let's get Zambai down here as well. Let's move Garp up. Garp belongs there. Spandam, it's fine. I'd say put Whitebeard up, because Whitebeard's another guy that's just like the foreshadowing of Whitebeard is, you know. I'd move Olivia down because, like I said, like I feel like she deserves to be like a good cat. Olivia's one for me where I'm kind of like, I'm between A and B. She's the bottom of A, could fall into B, but you know, that flashback was just so impactful that, you know, I'll leave her there just now. Dragon, I can move down because I don't know much about him. I feel like maybe Dragon could even go after Saul. To be honest, like I know that Dragon is going to be. In fact, you know what? I maybe move him down further because like I really know nothing about him other than he's Luffy's dad. Maybe even put him there after Whitebeard, because I feel like that's a good spot for those three, like Garp, Whitebeard and Dragon. You're like, right, these are three characters who are obviously very, very important, and going forward, I think they're going to be a big deal, but right now, we need to know more. Whereas the likes of like Ace, Blackbeard, Aokiji, they've had some impact. They've had some time to kind of show off who they are. And then you have all these lovable characters like, you know, your Tom, your Saul, your Kobe. Iceberg was just a fantastic side character. Polly, fantastic side character. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. I think that, you know, that looks good for the A tier for me. Some of them could change. You know, it's one of those ones where some of them are so close together that I'm like, you can't distinguish. And some of them, I don't have enough information, right? So here we go. Let's rank these S tiers. Right, let's get the main boys up the top, and then we can discuss any changes that might be taking place, because I feel like there could be some changes happening round about here, right? Robin, bang, straight up there. Usopp, bang, straight up there. What an arc for those two. In fact, do you know what? And I think this is the first time I've ever done this, because these two are always neck and neck. I feel like Zoro could be number one right now. And him and Luffy change for me all the time. Zoro and Luffy always changing. Just depending on the arc. And I don't know, like something, there's just something about me right now that's leaning more towards Zoro. But my love for Luffy is just insane as well. Like, just those two, I can't, like, when people kind of ask me sometimes in the comments, they're like, who's your favourite character? And I'm like, I can't pick between Luffy and Zoro. I love them both. And they're up there. But, like, Robin in this arc, my God, like, she jumped high. Sanji, let's get him up there. I'd say, you know, Nami for me, I'd probably still put above, like, Frankie. Sanji. Frankie had a big impact on this arc, and what an introduction. One of the best character introductions of the crew members. He's jumped straight up there. But, like, I don't think I'm ready to put him above Nami yet. I feel like with a little more time with him on the crew, he'll probably get there. Because I love him. Like, his personality is amazing, right? Let's get Shanks. I'm not going to put him above the Going Merry. I mean, like, let's keep the crew together, guys. You know, let's just keep the crew together. Put Shanks there. I'm happy with that for right now. Some of these could change, right? I feel like Robin is making a very good case for being, you know, up there. Like, if anybody can break into these two that have been there from the start, it's Robin. You know, she's just different level. Usopp and, like, these two here, Usopp and Sanji, these two could switch. Nami and Frankie, these two could switch. Shanks is quickly becoming, you know, a very much anticipated character that I just can't wait to see him anytime. So, I don't know. And Lucci's just like, Lucci is an S tier villain for me, but he's not quite Crocodile and L levels, but he's up there with them. He's top three villains for me. And that's us, guys. That is the final layout. Let me know what you think. What ones do you agree with? What ones do you not? You know, I feel like the ones, if I were to pick ones that I feel like people would disagree, probably Chopper. I feel like people might have Chopper in S tier. And I understand that, but like I said, I am, you know, I'm there with you. I'm not ready to do it just yet. Same with Ace. Like, those two, I feel like people would be like, you know, they deserve to be an S tier. It will happen. I feel like it will happen for both of them. But right now, this is where I stand with it. Let me know what you guys think. You know, this is, I'll end this video here. I'll go more in depth into some of the characters and what I think, because this is going to be like a 2.5 hour, I knew it was going to be long, video. So I'm going to come out with a kind of predictions, theories video, and we'll talk about some of these characters and my thoughts on them and where I think they're going to go, where I think the story's going to go. So, guys, tune into that, and I'll see you during the week. We'll be releasing these videos that I was talking about. Thanks so much. If you have made it through this marathon of a tier list here, and you've watched it all, thank you so much for sticking with me and listening to me gush about my love for these characters. You know, thank you so much for supporting the channel. Everyone that's subscribed, you know, watches these videos, comments, likes the videos. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. You guys, we've got to 1,000 subscribers on the channel, and I can't believe it. The best community out there. Thank you so much, and I will see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.